2.
Hey guys, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. Arthur Solomon with the Solomon Group, and today I have a very special guest, Melissa Tuttle, Clerk of Courts for Clark County, and this is going to be a treat for you guys. We just wanted to sit down with Melissa. It's actually her first podcast that she's ever done, so we're really excited to have her here today, this morning. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for the opportunity. I greatly appreciate it.
You know, some of our viewers may not know who you are, so that's what this segment's about. We want to introduce you to our viewers for those that maybe don't know you or those that need a refresher. So can you just start out by telling us a little bit about yourself and how you came up, and we'll go from there.
So Melissa Tuttle. I am the Clerk of Courts in Clark County, Ohio, and I'm from Springfield. I went to Shawnee and went to University of Toledo for undergrad and Capital University for law school. And when I went to law school, I was working as a bank teller and commuted. I lived in South Mountain Historic District, so I love my older homes. I love the character of this community. So I've been a homeowner for 12 years now, and now live up in Ridgewood. And I love what we have here in our community. And my family's been here since 1806.
Wow.
So since before Clark County existed. So I'm very passionate about the records that I have in my clerk's office, because that's people's lives and people's property that I hold at the clerk's office. All of the land records are held in the recorder's office, but any property that was under dispute and there was lawsuits involving it where there was a quiet claim deed, that all came through the clerk's office. So I'm very passionate about the history. I did go to law school, so I've been practicing law for 7 years now. So I'm licensed to practice in the state of Ohio, the Southern District, and also I'm actually licensed to practice before the United States Supreme Court.
Wow, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Just to dive back a little bit, so Simon Kenton, that's like 1804. Mm-hmm. So did they come together, or like
Yes. So one of my ancestors married Simon Kenton's daughter.
Really?
Yes. So there's one of the cousins of an ancestor. So there's several branches of the family tree, and Tuttle Brothers was my family. So we had an automotive parts store.
Right.
And from 1917 until 2007. So during the recession, before small businesses, really that insurgence of people supporting small businesses, that was when Tuttle Brothers closed. And now it's been revitalized. But before Tuttle Brothers, it was actually Elder Tuttle Hardware, and we were a hardware store. And my family bought out the Elder family, which they went into the law practice 2 generations before I decided to do the law practice.
Wow.
But my family, we opened Tuttle Brothers, and the mentality that we had was it was a 24/7 store. My grandfather and his brother, great-grandfather and his brother stayed 24/7, so that if you had a breakdown or needed car parts, you could go to Tuttle Brothers.
Incredible.
And we were the only people that could supply AC Delco parts up until 1997, when they decided not to have exclusivity. And that's when Walmart and Advanced Auto Parts and all of those other companies started entering the market, and it wasn't as competitive for a small business like that.
How cool. I had no idea about that. I think you're related to the Harveys, because I think they're
Yes,
related to
yeah.
Simon Kenton too. So shout out to Zach and Jeff. And
we went to school together, Zach and Jake.
Oh yeah, small world, small
Yes.
world. Okay, so growing up in Springfield, you went to Shawnee, then you went to law school. Mm-hmm. What brought you back to Springfield? Like, why do you love this community so much that you wanted to come back and serve the people here in this community?
Yeah. So in college, I did intern at the US EPA in Washington, D.C., and I had actually looked at law schools, and including American University and Georgetown. And we had a family health emergency, and when I came back, and I didn't go to law school, I didn't submit my applications at that time, and started working as a direct care provider, and then I ended up getting a job at Huntington as a bank teller, and really started getting passionate about the history and the genealogy that I have and the culture. I really started advocating I advocated to try to save Memorial Hall, got involved with Springfield Preservation Alliance, which actually then merged with the Westcott House. And I really started civic advocacy of trying to keep our history and trying to preserve the great buildings that we have, because that's what separates us from any place else in the world, is some of the great structures that we have and the great history that we have from International Harvester with Bushnell and Glessner and Mortar. All of that history that those people gave to our community, I'm hoping that we can pass that legacy on to the future with doing things now that people will be like, oh, I remember them, or oh, what, I want to learn more about them because they did great things back then for us.
Yeah. It's amazing to me. I'm on the board at the Heritage Center. So we'd love to have you too if you're interested. I know you're busy, but one of the things that if you type in right now, Warder, Bushnell, any of these people on YouTube, likely you're not going to find PP Mast. You're likely not going to find anything about these people. And that's one of the things that we've tried to do is like anyone buys a house from us, we give them a book, history books about all the historical houses, the people that have built this. So that's amazing to me. I love the history part of it as well myself.
Yeah.
So coming back to Springfield, and now you're married and your husband, you guys live here in Clark County.
Yes.
What's your experience like?
Well, see, I grew up in Springfield, and so I remember, the days when there was nothing to do downtown. And so it's great to see the resurgence and the development downtown.
Definitely.
But I love, my husband's from Columbus, he's from Powell. And so it's great seeing Springfield through his eyes. And when he says to people he moved to Springfield, I love hearing what he tells people of the great art scene with the Hatch Galleries that had opened right when we started dating. So, and Mother Stewart's and all of these things now with the Co-Hatch at the market and all of the restaurants opening. I love seeing Springfield through his eyes because I know it. I can talk about when Community Hospital was there and all these other structures, but now seeing Springfield differently with him and enjoying the parks and what's happened with Snyder Park and the beautiful trails that we were at on Saturday. I love this community and I love everything, all the people that are striving to make it better for the future.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. And we've changed a lot downtown. I don't even recognize it from the time that I came here when I came to Wittenberg in 2007.
Okay, yes.
There was literally nothing to do, and now it seems like with the parking garage and the condos and the residential component, that's really going to change downtown in the next couple of years, I feel like.
Yeah, well, and it's definitely seeing the nightlife because that didn't exist 10 years ago. 5 years ago, there wasn't a nightlife downtown, and I love seeing that you can just show up downtown and go to Mother Stewart's or go to the Hatch or go to Stella Blue or Fratelli's. It's just great to have that opportunity to meet up with people and see people out in the community. I love being out and being able to see people and do things, and we have great communities. Even we were out at the night market in New Carlisle and having that great community out there as well in Clark County.
Yeah, absolutely. So why don't we switch gears a little bit? Tell us a little bit about when you came back, you joined Clark County Leadership, you were saying, and which is a great program that I haven't completed yet myself and need to. But can you tell us about that and how that impacted you moving forward?
Yes. So I attended the 2014-2015 class of leadership, and it's 8 sessions where you get immersed with about 35 other participants, and I'm on the board now, and you get immersed into the community, and each segment has different focuses, including like poverty in our community. There's a poverty simulation so that you can kind of put yourself in the shoes of somebody else. There's a crime and rehabilitation seminar, lifespan, and the history. So each day has a different focus, and it's always on a Thursday all day, and it's spread out over like 6 months. So it makes it pretty manageable to dedicate the time. But one of the things I noticed was everybody always talks about problems. It's easy to talk about problems,
right?
But problems get fixed if people step up and try to fix them. And I really was invoked with the fact that I could make a difference when I was practicing law and seeing piles on the floor and files in the hallway unsecured, going into court and the judges or magistrates saying, I don't have that, that's not in the file. I saw that there were things that could be done better. And that's why I decided to run for clerk, was it was something that I had direct knowledge on of how things could be done better, that could be better service to the participants, the legal community, and the entire public. So It was really where I saw that people needed to step up, and I ran against a 40-year incumbent back in 2016.
That's amazing. Yeah. Seems like we've got a lot of turnover from older people that have been in office for a while with Kelly and,
yes.
So, well, your job is pretty complex. I mean, the clerk of court's office, you guys do appeals, trials, criminals, domestics, titles, passports, right?
Yes.
A little bit of everything.
Yeah, we have two divisions that most people don't realize that the clerk's office has. The most common one that many people use is the title office, which we do motor vehicle titles, manufactured home titles, boat titles, even golf carts get titled if you want to have them street legal. We also now have all three offices as passport certified, so we can do any new passport application. So if it's expired less than 5 years and you're an adult, that's a general renewal that you can do yourself. But any minor passports that are done, minor meaning youth, and also if you've been expired for more than 5 years, you'd come through our office. You have to bring in the photo, but we can help you with the application and telling you what documentation you need and give you the oath that it is you that is applying for the passport. That's a very key element, is saying that you're certifying the documents. So that is with the Department of State. So many people don't realize that the clerk's office, it is a United States office, an Ohio office, and a county office, that we are basically, especially in the title office, working on all three levels of government.
Wow.
Because of doing that for the Homeland Security and the Department of the passports.
That's incredible. So you obviously do a lot here for our community. So as far as the first time that you decided to run, can you walk us through that experience and what that was like?
So I, one of the reasons why I actually had run was because of leadership, and then I had been on Central Committee for the Republican Party, and Ron was fighting over, my predecessor was fighting over getting a direct deposit for his paycheck. And it was something that's very common, that everybody gets paychecks via direct deposit. And I'm like, well, maybe this is where we need to move forward. He was elected in 1976 and had been in office for 40 years and hadn't had an opponent for 24 years.
Wow.
And so I really thought it was time that somebody stepped up and tried to make changes in that office. And so I had an opponent in the primary in 2016, and then I ran against Ron in November of 2016, and won the election. And so I took office in 2017, and I had seen a lot that needed to be done prior, but once I got in and saw the piles of boxes and what the storage unit, it has been a definite labor of love of trying to update all of those records, because when you're dealing with expungement files for criminal cases, trying to find some of those cases, it took 50 man-hours to clean a space that a car would fit in a storage unit. And that was 50 man-hours total, with having buildings and grounds helping me. I had a cadet from the sheriff's office helping me. And then I also had myself and my staff. I had a couple of my staff that was helping organize. And those files, like, it goes from Court of Appeals to civil cases to domestic cases and criminal, and then the garnishments and the ancillary cases. But having those organized to be able to pull a case within minutes is time. It's so much time saving, but then that's also how the records should have been kept. I organized 52 years of records because they were in a heap, so to say, of no chronological order, no separation of case type.
What a mess.
Yes. And
so now everything is online. So you can literally pull everything like this, right?
So all of our docketing back to 1990s online. And then we've been scanning when old cases were pulled in the past, they just went into a box. They never went into the other case box. They never were returned back to the slot where they were before.
Gotcha.
So we've scanned over 60 of those old boxes of all the different filings so that we have them, and then docketed where those case files, I created a new box name and said it's located in C5, so that then I could go and pull that physical file again if I needed it. Like if it was expunged, then it has a different process and needs to be segregated. But I've been working with the commissioners and the county IS department in order to have images available online to the public. And the key thing, especially with real estate, where that saves you time, is title searchers that do the title for real estate titles would be able to not have to come into our office or email our office. They would be able to check, oh, so-and-so got that property in the divorce. Oh, that foreclosure process. Oh, it looks like all of the documents are there. Everything's clear. That would save your industry a ton of time and money, and being able to have that as a resource.
So I'm sure all the local attorneys that do real estate
yes,
appreciate that.
Yes.
Saves them a lot of time. So one of the things that I thought you were able to adapt, and you're flexible, which is very impressive. You were through this COVID, we've everything kind of shut down. Can you talk about how you've been able to adapt with your office to service the community?
Yeah. So in September of 2019, I opened a Southern Village title office. It was actually an old Huntington bank that had been closed for 6 years. And I had actually worked there when I was a teller a few times, and so I knew the space. It was actually where I had first interviewed with Huntington for a job. And I'm like, that would be a great title office because of the space. Back in 2016, I had kept it in the back burner. There were many other changes that I needed to make to both of the offices first. And finally, in 2019, I was able to open and, one, bring life back into that space that had been a vacant structure for so long. And it took some time for people getting used to it being occupied again. And many people thought it was a bank.
Yes.
Yeah,
it's good to see that.
We did have somebody sleeping in our drive-through at one point. So it was definitely something to adapt with, and my staff did extremely well. But really the business in that picked up once we did start Saturday hours back in January of 2020. But really when COVID hit, we had 3 drive-through lanes, which was the first in the state of Ohio. And we actually have gotten the good government spotlight from the Auditor of State because of being able to serve the public during COVID.
That's awesome.
I thought about it for elderly and handicapped, maybe people with children. Never would have thought a pandemic was on the top of my list for having a drive-through title office. But some counties closed completely. Other counties were by appointment only. And we were able to have our downtown office be for dealers and the public to use the Southern Village office and stay in the drive-through. My staff and I have stayed safe during COVID, and it's been a great blessing. And we were actually, for the end of September, we were $53,000 more in revenue in our title office than last year.
Really? Wow. That's impressive. You mentioned also adapting with credit cards and
Yes.
using those kind of systems. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, so in October of 2017, we started accepting credit cards, which had never been done before in the clerk's office of using credit or debit. We actually have online payments in the legal division, so people can, if they have court costs to pay for a criminal case or for an in-rem tax foreclosure case, they can pay those online and not even have to ever come into the clerk's office. And it saves them time, saves us time, and makes the records better of having that digital tracing.
That's awesome. So it sounds like overall you brought the clerk of court's office into the 21st century with
Yes.
taking everything online and using credit cards, which I don't even have anything but credit cards. So for a person like me, I wouldn't understand what to do. And then with the drive-through, obviously, those are big achievements and
Yes.
great for our community. So maybe we can shift gears a little bit. So as far as opportunities, obviously you're a young entrepreneur, attorney, living here in Springfield. Can you talk maybe a little bit about our community? And for example, like your husband, he lives here in
Yeah.
Springfield now. Bringing in young entrepreneurs, and maybe we can talk about affordable housing and the opportunity that our community has for growth.
Yeah, I think we are very ripe for all the opportunities. We can be a catalyst for so much change and modernization in this next decade. And Columbus, the cost of housing over there is skyrocketing.
Yeah.
And we have such affordable housing. The Tuttle Road behind Walmart, where the new housing development's going in from Ryan Homes, I grew up over on that side, and it's different to not see it as farmland. But we are having new housing for the first time in decades, and that just gives so much opportunity for new people to move into this community, for families to come back to Clark County. There are many. I talked to somebody the other day that all of their kids moved away, and it's great to see some people moving back to Clark County that maybe graduated from high school back in the 90s, and they're finally seeing Springfield as a place of opportunity, and seeing that with people working from home, it's a great place if with cost of living to be lower, being able to be out in the community. One thing I always told people pre-COVID is it's amazing the events that Springfield has, from the Arts Council to the Symphony, all the different organizations that we have. You would not go to Columbus and be able to sit with people of all walks of life. But everybody's welcome to the table in Springfield, and that is always very welcoming, that there's not, this little niche can stay there. You see everybody from the chamber to nonprofit, and I love to be at events, so I consider myself I like to be the elected official in the room a lot of times. But it's great that those events aren't exclusive, that everybody's welcomed into the Hollenbeck and at those events at the table. And you don't see that in Columbus, where all those people would be in the same room together. Mm-hmm. And you have the movers and the shakers, and you have the people that are eager to make a change. And that's the great thing about Springfield, is that you have those opportunities here.
Absolutely. So that small, tight-knit community that we have here.
Mm-hmm.
So what opportunities do you see for people like young people, for example? So we got a lot of people that have been in office a long time. What do you see as far as the change, as far as maybe a demographic change for maybe younger people, young entrepreneurs running for office?
Yeah. Well,
You think it's important?
Yeah, I think it's important, because having those fresh new ideas and those perspectives, instead of the words that kill anything, is this is the way we've always done it.
Yeah.
In from the private sector to the public sector, whenever you have those words, this is the way we've always done it, you're limiting yourself on the potential for growth, for the potential for efficiencies, and the potential to think outside the box to do things better. I had fellow clerks that were like, "You're going to do a drive-through title office?" And they came down. I've had 17 clerks come from across the state to look at how I've been operating my title office, because they want to implement those in their communities.
Makes sense.
So it's great to see Clark County being innovative. We had a patent office back at the last turn of the century. The Wright brothers plane, the patent was written right down the street for that. That's great heritage, and that's what I want to see Clark County do, is where are those innovative ideas that we can be competitive and we can be innovative to doing things better than what we've done before.
Okay, so say it's somebody that is just starting out. Say they just got out of high school. Like, what steps would you recommend someone take if they were interested in serving the community? What way would you recommend?
Being involved, volunteering. I'd say I've hired several people that have been right out of college or interns at the clerk's office, and many people don't realize that is an opportunity of a government office. There actually is different opportunities with student loans to get your student loans forgiven after 10 years of working for the government.
Really?
Which is another opportunity that people that may have had debt working for the government and working in the county. And that's where we need people that are hard workers, people that show up on time, and people that we can hold accountable to doing the right thing and not just this is how it's always been done.
Absolutely. Well, not to change the topics, but
Yeah.
we did talk about this the other day, and I really don't know much about it, and I thought I would just ask you on the show. So you talked about like landlords. I'm a landlord, for example, and I know a lot of landlords. And with this COVID,
Yes.
there's some restrictions on evictions. Obviously, you have to show proof that you're trying and stuff like this. But you were telling me about some funding that's available
Yes.
through the county. Can you just elaborate on that and what
Yeah.
that means for investors?
So there's two different forms that the county just put out last Wednesday, the commissioners, for CARES Act funding. And basically, you can qualify, I think it's up to $1,000 a month if they apply. And there's two different deadlines. The county commissioners are focusing on outside the county and people with disabilities that were affected from COVID that may have lost their job or had limited income. And it's basically a grant process that they can pay your landlord for you, and the funds will go directly to the landlord if that tenant applies for it. So there's applications available on the county's website that anybody that's a landlord, and then the second round goes for city landlords. So I'd really suggest people to review the application, and if you have tenants that are behind, maybe printing it off and saying, "Hey, will you want to do this?" That's I'm a landlord as well, and I've tried to be like sympathetic during the hard times of COVID, and be accommodating, and so it's a key thing that is needed in our community to help bridge that gap. Also, nonprofits, I believe, can have an application that they can do. But I'd urge anybody, at least look to see if you possibly qualify. I always think don't leave money on the table. Through the CARES Act funding, I've gotten about $50,000 back into my budgets for applying for what I had submitted for documentation in regards to employees and buying supplies because of COVID.
Oh, like PPP and idle?
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay, well, we've got, 15 days? Like
Yes.
15 days before November 3rd.
Yes, exactly.
What are your thoughts? What do people need to be doing right now?
Well, everybody needs to get out to vote. I encourage you to, of course, vote for Melissa Tuttle. But, that's where people need to realize, I know it's a very volatile time right now with politics. And people need to look all the way from the top of the ticket all the way down and really look at those people, the people on the bottom of the ticket. Those are the people that are making differences in your community. That's how you can make a title office have a drive-through. That's how you can have credit cards accepted. That's how we're doing same-day docketing and servicing in the clerk's office, which was not done in the past. And we are basically, as soon as the mail comes, that we're waiting on the mail to do more work. And the work is getting done as soon as we get the mail. So those are the differences in our community, is making sure that you're looking and you're getting out to vote and you're voting for the person and the candidates and really doing your research on what candidates are best suited for the job and have the experience for the job and are going to work for you. I run the clerk's office like a small business. I've saved over $2 million in my term. In
Incredible.
In a little over 3.5 years, I've saved the taxpayers over $2 million and I gave $1 million to the 911 dispatch. And then the other money is a $207,000 grant that I got from the Supreme Court for my case management system update. And then all the rest has been being under budget that much. That's how much I've been under budget in my legal office.
That's incredible.
And giving that money back to the general fund.
Well, you're completely different than the government where we just spend and print trillions of dollars. But here locally, I'm just curious, what's more important, the big election or the small election here locally? What do you think determines our future more?
I always say your future is the people that are working with you closest. That's where you're going to see the biggest impact and change is, when you think of the local elections, everything from county trustees, city commissioners, county commissioners, really, and, clerk of courts, auditor, treasurer, those positions are so key to making the difference. Those are the people that are hiring people. Those are the people that are, I've raised my starting rate from, it was $10 the first person I hired back in February of 2017, and I'm now starting at $15 an hour. That's impacting people's lives by raising rates and paying more, and that's how you actually have the impact in the community, is by giving back to the community. And I really think the local elections, really people sometimes, they don't know the candidates, they don't research, and they just always go for the presidential and they leave the rest blank. And that's where advocating for people to really think of who they're voting for and why they're voting for. And, whether you're an R or a D or an independent, you don't have to vote straight down one side. You can vote for the party and the person of how you see fit.
Absolutely. Well, we want to conclude this, but I want to thank you for being the guest on. I'm, like I said, very impressed with everything that you've done so far. You've got my vote. You can count on me. I'm actually going to vote after we leave here. So
awesome.
Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Hopefully this has been a productive discussion. If you guys have questions, just drop them in the comments or send us a message. How can people get a hold of you if they have questions?
I have a Facebook page, Keep Tuttle Clerk, or my personal Facebook page. I try to respond. If you have a question about the office, then I also have the Melissa M. Tuttle Clerk of Courts page. If you have other questions, I always, a personal message is the best way for me. I respond to them even at like 2 a.m. For title questions. I basically will work whenever I see the email come in. So I do try to be a very accessible elected official. And then if you do want to come into the clerk's office and actually see what the office looks like, I love people showing, especially our vault that has all of our old books, which were not in chronological order when I took office, which I may have some OCD that I want numbers in order or just care about how we organize things. But I really do love what I do and love sharing the information and trying to make it easier for people to come in and do business with the clerk's office.
Right on. Well, guys, thank you so much. We'll see you on the next episode. And thanks again to Melissa for being here.
Thank you for the opportunity. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Have a good day, guys.
Thank you. Bye.